Welcome to your free online course in English grammar from Live and Learn. My name is Anjali. I hope you enjoy this lesson and you find it useful. If you do, please like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also if you know anybody else who might be interested in improving their English through learning English grammar, then please share this video with them. Okay. Let's move on to the lesson. Live and Learn free online course in English grammar. Lesson 14. Verbs. Part 1. A verb is a word that expresses an action, a state of mind, or a state of being. Verbs tell us what is happening and for how long it is happening, in the past, present, and future. 1. Person, number, singular or plural, and subject-verb agreement. Verbs, like personal pronouns, have three persons: the first person, the second person, and the third person. Verbs also have number. They can be singular or plural. The rule for verbs is that they must agree with their subjects in both person and number. The subject of the verb is the person or thing that is expressing the action of the verb. Examples of person and number. Verb, to love. First person singular, I love. Second person singular, you love. Third person singular, he loves, she loves, it loves. Verb, to love. First person plural, we love. Second person plural, you love. Third person plural, they love. Examples of subject-verb agreement. I love you. First person singular. The subject of the verb is the personal pronoun I. I know she loves ice cream, and I know all of you love ice cream too. Here, she loves is third person singular, and the subject of the verb is she. You love is second person plural, and the subject of the verb is you. We love going to Bali for our holidays. First person plural. The subject of the verb is we. They love singing. Third person plural. The subject of the verb is they. Each of the women loves singing. Third person singular equals she loves, because each is the subject of the verb loves, not women. Two. Lexical, main verbs. Verbs can be made up of more than one word, depending on their tense. This is an important thing to remember. The three types of verbs in English grammar. 1. Lexical or main verbs. 2. Auxiliary verbs. 3. Modal verbs. In English grammar, the main verbs in a sentence are called lexical verbs. These are the main verbs in a sentence because they give a sentence its meaning. These main verbs are helped by auxiliary verbs and modal verbs, which are also called helping verbs. We will look at auxiliary verbs and modal verbs in separate lessons. Lexical verbs. All regular and irregular verbs, except for auxiliary verbs and modal verbs, are lexical verbs. Remember, auxiliary verbs and modal verbs are not lexical verbs because they are not the main verbs in a sentence. Lexical verbs are categorized in 5 ways. However, all main verbs can fit into any of the following 5 categories, depending on how they are used in a sentence. These categories are merely the names for what they are actually doing in the sentence. 1. Transitive verbs. 2. Intransitive verbs. 3. Linking verbs. These link the subject of a sentence to information that describes it. Examples. Donna was wearing a blue dress. The verb was wearing links the blue dress to Donna. The sea turned pink with the rays of the setting sun. The verb turned links pink to the sea. 4. Dynamic verbs. These express dynamic actions involving some kind of physical, emotional, or mental movement. Examples. She exploded with anger. The verb exploded expresses a dynamic action. The girls were running. The verb were running expresses a dynamic action. The magician appeared out of nowhere. Here, appeared is used as a dynamic verb because it expresses an action. 5. Static verbs. These express states of being or situations rather than actions. Examples. 2 free drinks were included in the price of the meal. Here the verb were included is a static verb describing a situation. She appeared to be calmer than before. Here, appeared is used as a static verb because it describes a state of being. As linking verbs, dynamic verbs and static verbs are fairly self-explanatory. In this section, we will concentrate on transitive and intransitive verbs. An explanation of transitive and intransitive verbs. 1. A transitive verb is one that refers to an action that goes from the subject of the verb to the object. Think of it like the verb moving from one place in the sentence to another. The action described by a transitive verb needs to travel from the subject to the object in order for the sentence to make sense. The rule is that transitive verbs must have an object. Transitive verbs do not make sense without an object, and they cannot complete a sentence without an object. Most transitive verbs refer to a single direct object in a sentence, but they can also refer to an indirect object as well as a direct object. Examples. He told a lie. He is the subject. The verb told is used transitively here, and a lie is the direct object. He told her a lie. He is the subject. The verb told is again used transitively here, and this time it has 2 objects in the sentence. Her is the indirect object, and a lie is the direct object. Leela started her business. The verb started is used transitively here because the action goes from the doer, subject Leela, to the object of the sentence, her business. the verb needs the object to complete the sentence. Two, an intransitive verb stays with its subject. It does not need an object to complete a sentence. Intransitive verbs can be followed by a prepositional phrase or an adverb to add to the thought being expressed, but the rule is that they cannot be followed by a noun, which would act as the object of the sentence. Examples: the birds were singing. Here the verb were singing is stuck to the subject, the birds. It is used intransitively because the verb has no object and the sentence does not need an object to make sense. She works hard. Here the verb works is used intransitively because it is describing what she is doing and is therefore attached to the subject she. Hard is an adverb in this context as it describes the verb. 3. Most verbs can be either transitive or intransitive, depending on the sentence. So it is more correct to say that a verb can be used transitively or intransitively. Examples: the learner driver crashed the car into a tree. The verb crashed is used transitively because the action goes from the doer, the learner driver, to the object, the car, and the verb needs the object to complete the sentence. The car crashed. The verb crashed is used intransitively here because it stays with the subject, the car, and it does not need an object to complete the sentence. Four. Some intransitive verbs, such as to arrive, to die, or to go, can be used transitively by placing a preposition that introduces a phrase containing a noun after the verb, which becomes the object of the sentence, or by prefixing the preposition to the verb. Examples: the cow went through the gate. The preposition through has been added to the verb went, and so the verb is being used transitively in this sentence. Through the gate is called a prepositional phrase because it begins with the preposition through. She overcame her addiction to alcohol. Here the preposition over is prefixed to the verb came, and as overcame, the verb is used transitively. He arrived late. Intransitive. The verb arrived sticks to its subject he and is modified by the adverb late. No object is needed to complete the sentence. He arrived late at the ceremony to honor him for his bravery in battle. Transitive, as the verb arrived is followed by the preposition at, and this moves it to the object, which is the ceremony. At the ceremony is called a prepositional phrase because it begins with the preposition at. Why is it important to know the difference between verbs that are used transitively and verbs that are used intransitively? It is important because sentences in the passive voice only use transitive verbs. They cannot use intransitive verbs. We will look at this more closely in the lesson on active and passive voice. Phrasal verbs. If a verb is made up of two or more words, it is called a phrasal verb. The nuances of meaning can be different depending on whether phrasal verbs are used transitively or intransitively. Examples of phrasal verbs: to beat up, to blow up, to boast of, to be left out, to get on, to get up, to give up, to laugh at, to look for, to look up, to put on. Example of nuance of meaning. Dave has decided to give up smoking. Transitive verb, meaning to quit, as in to relinquish. I hope Dave doesn't give up. Intransitive verb, meaning to quit, as in to stop trying. Moods of verbs. Moods of verbs. A mood used in this sense means the mode, manner, or way in which a verb expresses an action, state of mind, or state of being. In English, verbs have three moods that are related to the verb tenses. 1. The indicative mood. This mood is used to make a statement. The statement can be factual or based on an assumption that is thought to be true. This mood is also used to ask a question. Examples. Richa is a woman. Statement of fact. Did you get the job? Question. If it is sunny tomorrow, I shall go to the beach. An assumption. Note, people sometimes call the indicative mood the interrogative mood when it is used to ask a question. Two. The imperative mood. This mood is used to express an order or command, a request or demand, an entreaty or a prayer. Examples. Get into the car. Command. Take care of yourself. Request. Please stop smoking. Entreaty. James is to be commended for his efforts to recycle his household waste. A request that other people honor James for his efforts. 3. The subjunctive mood. This mood expresses a desire or longing, something that could be but isn't, or could have been but wasn't, or what could have happened if something different had happened in the past. In other words, something that is unreal or hypothetical. In literature, it is used to introduce a metaphor. The subjunctive mood is expressed in conditional sentences and by the use of the subjunctive tense. We will look at the expression of the conditional in a separate lesson in this course. If you want to learn about the subjunctive tense, please refer to the Live and Learn English Grammar textbook. Although it is not usually taught to beginners, it is explained in the textbook. Well done! You have completed this lesson. If you enjoyed the lesson and you found it useful, please do like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you know anyone who is also interested in improving their command of English by learning English grammar, please share this video lesson with them. If you would like to buy the Live and Learn English Grammar textbook, you can buy it as an ebook or as a paperback from the Amazon website that serves your country of residence. There are some links in the description box below the video. The book does go deeper into aspects of grammar, and it also contains exercises with answers so you can monitor your own progress. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.